Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Streets to Summits. Sixth episode. Actually, what I realized just now is that um, I usually, most of the time, I film these on a Wednesday and they're uploaded on a Thursday. And this helps me realize how quickly time moves and how just quickly it goes by because right now I'm just I got back to work. I'm working, I'm trying to run, I'm trying to cycle, and I got into cycling, which I'm gonna talk about later. But yeah, I'm just trying to, work, like do all of the stuff that I'm always doing, and then it's like, oh wait, it's Wednesday. I need to film an episode. Like sometimes I just forget like how quickly time moves, and this shows me how quickly the time moves because it's episode 6. And episode 1 it seemed like it wasn't that a couple of weeks ago, but it's actually the 6th week I'm doing this. So yeah, time is flying fast. Um, there are a couple of changes in my life. So when I started doing this podcast, when I started to get into running and endurance training, I had left my job. So I was jobless, and at that point, things were going great. I had all the time in the world, and I could film, I could edit, I could play video games, I could work out, I could do whatever I want to do because time wasn't an issue. Well, that has changed since the previous Friday because I got back to my old job. I was looking, I really disliked my job. I worked there for, I think I needed like 2 weeks, and it would have been 5 years, I think. 2 or 3 weeks, and it would have been 5 years. And basically, I hated the job. My colleagues were great, and I wanted to leave, and I left. And I had, plans, a lot of them, and they fell apart. So basically, what happened that there are some changes in the workplace, and I got a tiny bit of a boost in my paycheck, and they asked, maybe would you like to come back? And we talked for a bit, and I said yes. So yeah, right now it's going to get quite a bit more difficult, to try and keep Perevia going, try and keep my channel going, try doing these shows going, but I think this is manageable. It's gonna be difficult. There's definitely gonna be some things that I will need to say goodbye to, which probably are video games. I am a gamer. I've been my whole life. I love video games. And when I left my job, I am a PC gamer. I play all of my games on Steam. So I see like my activity, and I think that I was playing around like 20-25 hours in 2 weeks, which is like 10 to 12 and a half hours in a week. So I think that if I'm gonna keep all of this going, I will need to say goodbye to video games. Now, I'm still gonna play something on the weekends because, as I said, I love video games. I've been playing for, since I was a kid. I remember being like, I think I was either like 7 or 8 years old, and I remember playing GTA Vice City. And then I remember playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, which is probably, if you're my age, like 25, you probably look at Need for Speed Most Wanted with a lot of nostalgia, as well as I think Need for Speed Carbon for a bit. I never played San Andreas for some reason, but yeah, I started playing video games at a very early age, and I like them ever since. And I have been playing for hours and hours and hours. Probably since I was like 7 up until all the way now. And sometimes I like go and look into my stats, overall stats on Steam, and I am like 25 years old, and I think I spent like nearly 1 year of my life gaming. Like I definitely spent over 1 year because I remember being like in 7th grade and playing a bunch of Minecraft, which is not on Steam, but I have like 8,300 something hours on Steam alone, and I think 1 year is like 8,600 and something hours. So out of like my 20 years, 25 years of living, I have spent probably well above 1 year of my life playing video games. And sometimes when I look at that number, sometimes I think like if I put all of those hours into something like, like just learning a skill, like after that many hours, I probably would be like top 1% at that certain area. Or maybe, I don't know, doing something else. It is like video games are entertainment, but if I spent all of those hours learning or building something, like maybe, well, of course, you're not gonna start building a business when you're 13, because I was 13, I think, when I created my Steam account. But yeah, that's a lot of hours, and yeah, spent a lot of time playing video games. So yeah, another thing is I am running quite a bit. If you follow my personal channel, I was running a decent amount, but I also bought myself a bicycle and I'm getting into cycling. I haven't like cycled in like years now, like in a long time. But basically, as like I bought my bike last week. I haven't been riding that much, but I can ride my bike to work, which is great because like for example, right now my car is in a, mechanic shop, getting some stuff fixed, and now I can just jump on a bike and just go to work, because it's honestly on a bike, it's like 4 minutes, and I'm not exaggerating. It's legit like 4 minutes from where I live to where I work. So like it's great. I can save some fuel. I can still do some work on my legs. So that is great. I realized that how much I missed cycling, because I would do that like so much when I was a kid, because like I would sometimes like me and a couple of buddies of mine, like we would go to like a like school stadium to work out, because there were a couple of pull-up bars, and I forgot what is it called in English, the thing that you do dips in, uh, whatever it's called. But we would basically go there to work out. So like I would jump on a bike, go 3K one way, work out, come back home 3K. Then we would decide that we wanna go swimming. So I would bike like cycle 4K, to swim in the river, then cycle back. And yeah, I covered a lot of kilometers when I was a kid. And now when I got on the bike at 25, I didn't think that this would be so much fun. I just jumped on a bike, and I bought, like, the reason why I bought a bike is because I want to work on my endurance, but I needed something, with a tiny bit of, less impact on my knees, because after runs, my knees tend to hurt, and, bicycle removes that. So I just jumped on a bike, hoping that, I'm just gonna be working out, but I just like jumping on a bike and just going for a ride, just enjoying cruising, enjoying wind on my face. I was gonna say in my hair, but I'm balding and I don't have much hair left. So yeah, some things are going great, some things are not going well. But yeah, as for Perevia, I'm gonna sit down today, probably make some new designs. Hopefully, gonna do something cool, maybe a t-shirt or a hoodie, as well as I think I don't want to talk too much, but when it comes to Perevia and like the whole reason why I transitioned from lifting weights to training endurance is because I want to go to mountains. So I'm gonna try like doing some research and maybe thinking about going back to mountains, like maybe climbing another mountain this summer. I might, like going back to Risi would be an interesting challenge. Um, Going maybe to Norway would be interesting, but that would be such a long drive. Yeah, I could probably like take a ferry and go to Sweden probably, and then drive from Sweden to Norway and then to the mountains. but that would be all around, that would be an expensive trip. So like I want something, on a tiny bit of a cheaper side. And yeah, maybe Slovakia, maybe back to Risi, maybe something. But I would love to, um, you know, climb another mountain or maybe the same one, because Risi was a good challenge. It was a really difficult challenge, and it would be interesting to see, um, how would I fare, you know, doing it again, because I just like just out of curiosity, just out of interest, I watched again, with the video of me and my buddies climbing Mount Risi, and it's just I remember like how difficult it was. Like we were broken. Like none of us were prepared for that. And now when I think about it, like none of us prepared for it, but we all three of us are pretty like fit guys. Like some of us work out more than others, but like I'd say we're decently fit. And the people that we've seen climbing was like, you know, kind of scary, because like there was a guy, I don't even know which country from he is from, but yeah, we had trouble speaking in English and we didn't speak Russian, but he was somewhere from like I don't know, like Hungary or somewhere. But basically, like when we were climbing Risi, we would pass him, we would stop for a rest, he would pass us, and it went on and on and on. And we met on the peak and we talked for a bit, congratulations, on and on. But he looked like in a pretty bad shape, and we left before him. And when we were going down, like there was like, climbing Mount Risi, like you get to a certain point where you need to climb rocks. Well, there's not really rocks, but like, you need to climb very steep inclines using chains. And, if you don't have good shoes and it's raining, those chains can get slippery and slip out of your hands, as well as the rocks can get very slippery. And we left before him, and as soon as we like got down the last chains, it started to rain. And the guy seemed like he was like in a tough position when he was at the peak. And the tougher part is going down when it comes to mountain than going up. So yeah, I hope that the guy is okay, but yeah, like he was less prepared than us, and we were very unprepared. So yeah, I have been thinking about Slovakia. I have been thinking about Norway. So I would love to visit another mountain this summer. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. Another thing is I would love to actually climb Mount Risi, but during winter. And I would love to snowboard down Mount Risi, but considering my snowboarding ability, that would be a horrible idea, because I am a really bad snowboarder, and I'm just thinking about it like how much fun would it be? But yeah, if I spend this upcoming winter snowboarding a lot and putting in the hours, improving my skill, maybe the next winter I could do it. This upcoming one, there's no chance. My skills are way too low for that kind of thing. But yeah, another thing is I think I spoke about it in one of the previous episodes, so I'm not even gonna talk about Gran Paradiso. But I'm pretty sure that you can also ski or snowboard down Gran Paradiso as well. But yeah, uh, again, my skills are a tiny bit too low for that. I really, I am a bad snowboarder, but I really, really enjoyed snowboarding this past winter. I had a lot of fun, you know. So hopefully, maybe I'm gonna spend this upcoming winter improving my skills, and then, maybe going to Risi or snowboarding down Gran Paradiso. That would be probably an incredible amount of fun. One thing that I really, really want to do this summer, and I really hope that I'm gonna manage to do so, because it's actually not that difficult, is to jump on a train and go to Warsaw, Poland, and explore Poland for a bit. I imagine that should be a lot of fun. It's a very big city, and there should be good street food, and there's like, you know, stuff going on. So I would really love to go to Warsaw this summer and go, on a small exploration adventure over there. Other than that, there's actually not much going on. As I said, the speed of my life has like increased by quite a bit, because right now, I am not having like I maybe it's gonna be fine when I get into the rhythm, but right now, I live in a pretty big house. There's like a lot of house chores, and I need to go to work, and I need to make videos, and I need to edit them. And I just want to lay down and watch a movie, or just drink a can of Coke, and just enjoy just laying on a sofa or laying on the couch for a bit. So yeah, things are getting much much more difficult, but I think I'm gonna manage to do so. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today's episode. You know, uh, I really wanna. The thing is, I am cutting right now, and I'm trying to lose weight, but I really would like to, try out some maybe candy or food from different countries. But I can't really try out foods from different countries because, well, they have very short shelf times. And what has long shelf times are, candy. I can't really eat candy right now because I'm trying to lose weight. So yeah, some things are getting in the way of each other, but I think I'm gonna make it work. I am gonna try to be as consistent as I can, do as much work as I can, and I think that things are gonna go great, or they're gonna go, you know, better. But I'm gonna say that it's gonna be enough for today's episode. Visit Perevia's channel, visit perevia.store for cool clothing, and visit my personal channel if you wanna see more of my face. So, I guess that's gonna be it for today's episode. Thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see ya next Thursday.